What up, everybody? It's Pastor G.
Lady T.
And it's also
Nova.
my baby Nova is with us today in Atlanta. Look at Nova. She might not like the camera. She's like, Papa, what are you doing? We're thankful. We're still here in Atlanta, Georgia. Very excited about today's Uplift. Man, God is so good to us all of the time. You gonna be all right, baby?
Say bye-bye.
She might have to
Hello,
leave.
bye-bye.
My grandbaby is not gonna let her mama stay on camera today. We're so thankful. We're so thankful that we are here. God is good all of the time. I hope you're living today on this Friday with great expectations, because there are so many things that God is not introducing, but actually allowing us to walk in. And it's going to take, as my shirt says, bold faith. This is a season of very bold faith. According to your faith be it unto you. That's what Jesus says. And I believe what he says. And I want to admonish you over and over again that you should be having great expectations. I got some great things today. We've been here in the city of Atlanta. We're thankful to God for our visitation, being able to visit here. A lot of different things here happens here in Atlanta that's different from where we are from. And so a lot of times God will allow us to get outside what we call our box, to actually see things as they progress, or see things even in a more progressive form, because he wants your faith to be ignited. And so you experience things that allow your faith to be ignited. This is a season that your faith is going to be ignited. There are things that are happening that will happen. Now, here's the key to all things that happen to a believer. Here's the key that brings the right perspective to every event in your life. Now, we go through major events in our life. Sometimes we want to call the event our entire life. We'll say our life is horrible because we went through an event. Life is a marathon. There are several things that happen in the span of a life, or a lifespan. And so just because things happen, tragedies happen, situations happen, it is not your life. It's just something that happened within the span of life. If you will just wait a moment and believe, hear me, wait just a moment and believe, you will see that you are able to overcome, you are able to outlast, you are able to live through every dramatizing situation or traumatizing situation that you face. You will come through, you will make it through, you will live through it. I promise you this. If you will just hold on, you're going to see it. I've got testimonies that I'm going to share in the future of people that went through seasons that were dire, seasons that it didn't seem like, seasons that it was just not enough, seasons that did not look like what God had promised. And we all go through those things, but we just got to hold on, because we know that if I can just hold on to the promises of God, if I can keep my faith in the right position, if I can just keep believing, God will pull me through everything that I encounter. Nothing that you encounter was sent to kill you. It was only sent there to make you stronger. Even if it don't feel good, it don't look good, it doesn't matter. All things work together for good. That's what you got to always remember. All things work together for good. They are working for your good. They're bringing you to a better place. You got something in you that you are allowing to lay dormant, and God wants you to engage that. Your faith is coming alive. Thank you guys so much for being in the house. Thank you, Pastor Deidre. Thank you, Robbie Whitmore. Thank you, Pastor Angela. Enjoyed ourselves with you guys this week. Pastor Nolan, see you Sunday. Kimberly Clark. What's up, Kimberly Clark? Danita Watson. Hey, Danita Watson. Blessings to you. Christy Jones, California. Jody Goodwin. Thank you so much. Thank you guys so much for being in the house. Now, here's what I want you to do. I want you to share me right now. I want you to share me right now. I always forget that I need to be sharing myself too. Give me a moment. I'm gonna share myself, because I want what is being said today. I want it to go out all over the world, because I know that this is a blessed time in God, and the people that's going to hear today are going to realize that you are a person of great promise. Person of great promise. Pastor Melinda Downing, it was such a pleasure to see you and meet you for the first time here in Atlanta on last night with Apostle John Harris. Thank you so much for being in the house. You're a blessing. Thank God for you. It's an amazing season, an amazing time. Now I'm sharing myself, and so while I'm sharing me, I want you to go share me too. While I'm sharing me, if you will, you go share me too, and get some people in this house today, because it's going to be very powerful. I believe that this is going to be very powerful. So get a couple people in the house and let's roll with this. Now, remember, everything that you're facing right now, hear me. Everything that you're facing right now, you are built to live through it. You are built to live through it. It seems like it's going to kill you. I know. It seems like, man, this is just too much at this time. No, it's not. It's just the way that the enemy, he's going to attack. He has no option. Here's a secret to it. I want to share this. I'm here to encourage you that. I want to share this to you. When the enemy comes in like a flood, the Spirit of the Lord will lift up a standard against it. Now, that's an automatic. Please hear me. That's an automatic. That's what Scripture says. That's an automatic. Here's what you got to understand. If the Spirit that dwells in you is not lifting up a standard, it's because you're not allowing it to. You've been processing it through your own physical eyes. It says the Spirit of the Lord will lift, not your own ability, because you don't have the ability. You don't have in your flesh the power to fight against this force that's trying to kill you. The Spirit of the Lord. So you've been worrying about something that you shouldn't be worrying about. You got the tool inside you. It's the Spirit of God that wards against every trick, every deceptive moment, every time he try to make you think that you're not going to win this, or it's over for you. The Spirit of the Lord lifts up a standard. Here's what I suggest. Get out of the way of what God is trying to do. Get out of the way of what God is trying to do. The rain in your life is not here to flood you. It's here to water the seed that you already got in the ground. You got some seed right now. What you've been experiencing some seeds that have been struggling to take root. That's what you've been experiencing. So what happens? When I got seeds that have been struggling to take root, God will send some water. So the rain that you see is not to kill you or to dampen your parade. It's to water the seed. You're gonna march down victory lane not many days hence from here. Remember, I got people right here in this thing right here, right now, that can testify that there were days, not many days from here, that they thought that it was going to be tragic. The end of it was going to be tragic. All signs said tragedy. But they discovered, because I held on to my faith, what did I see? I seen the triumph as opposed to the tragedy. It was tragic while I was going through, but when God revealed to me, he showed me where he was taking me. I seen the triumph. And so you're about to experience the triumph of your calling that's on your life, because there's a spirit inside you that is raising standards right now. You're in the process of your standard being raised, because the enemy is coming in like a flood. Hey, thank you so much. Now you guys always hear me say Jonathan and Sonia Diamond. I want to say to my Atlanta family, actually today I am at Jonathan and Sonia's house. Blessings to them for us being here. Thank you, Pastor Marissa. So now let's get into this. Did I miss somebody? Have you shared me? Share me. Pastor DJ, thank you so much. Pastor Rhonda, blessings. Pastor Joy, thank you so much. My sister Sheila's in the house. Hey, my mom is in the house. What's up? Y'all missed it. I just had Nova on camera. We're still here in Atlanta, and she didn't want to be on camera. The contracts was not signed, so she said she was not going to participate in being on camera because the contract for her likenesses were not signed. All right, but that's okay. That's my grandbaby. I still love her. All right, everybody say, can somebody write in here bold faith? I'm about to share something with you. I'm here to encourage you. Bold faith. I need you to get prepared, get prepped, get prepared. I need to say this, and then I'm going to go into this trusting God's instruction. I need to give a word, a prophetic word, and I need you to hear this. You are right now, please hear me, in shift anxiety. Listen to me. Shift anxiety. Shift anxiety. What does that mean? God is rumbling your spirit right now, because there's something that you were called to. There's something, how you hate it, Pastor Vaughn, there's something that you were called to, and you didn't, currently you don't have all the instructions on how to live at the level that He's made privy to you. This is something that the Lord shared with me yesterday, and it's called shift anxiety. Now, you're going to be in this moment of emotions because what God does is He always requires you to live through faith. This means that in this shift, there's a place He's trying to get you. In this shift, please hear me. You don't know how to live there. And what you have, your spirit, again, your spirit is what get the prompts from God. Your spirit is what gets prompts from God. And when God prompts your spirit agrees quickly, but your flesh is apprehensive. Now, what the anxiety is when your spirit gets the prompt from God and started jumping and saying, yes, but your flesh is saying, how? Not now. I'm not prepared for it. And so now there's a war in between your spirit and your flesh. And so you live what is called shift anxiety because there's something that God is trying to walk you into. You don't know in the moment that you are suffering or scuffling with what you're scuffling through, that everything that you're scuffling and struggling through that's trying to kill you is actually the very thing God is using to promote you. Because once you get to the land of promise or the land called there, every one of your struggles is going to be a testimony to the land. Everything that you've gone through is going to be a testimony to the land. Thank you, Pastor Chester and Lex, for being out. Everything that you're going through. Now, remember when David was going through the shift to be king, there was one obstacle that stood in the way that defined his entire life. He was called Goliath, the champion. There's a champion that you're fighting against. It seems like it's mastering. The reason why the Bible called him champion is because he was a master in 3 areas. He was a master with javelin, he was a master with sword, and he was a master with a spear. Here it is, master with fear. And so in the midst of shift, you face champions. You face a champion. What is it mastering? It's mastering your finances. It's trying to master your family, and it's trying to master right now your happiness, your faith. It's trying to master this. And so you're up against this champion. But the way that David had confidence enough when he was getting ready to go to the actual battle, when he was getting ready to go to the actual battle, this is the only way he had power enough to face the champion was when he was by himself. He had to face some personal challenges. And the testimony was not even good until he was prepped and ready to face the main challenge that would catapult him into his next level of living. And so right now, there are so many that are listening to me. You are facing things right now that does not seem fair. But rest assured, God is prepping you for the main thing, because the main thing that he allowed you to come against, he's got to build your faith, bold faith in this season, because he's going to give you the opportunity. Every challenge is a segue into you living your brand new life. You won't get there without a challenge. There's going to be challenges that you face. There's going to be challenges. And so imagine David facing a bear, David facing a lion. What good were they when he was just sitting out on the backside? He might have questioned, why am I having to face this? Why? But he didn't know that there will be a day that the opportunity would come. And the only way he had confidence enough to give or to stand before this giant and speak to the people that said it was bigger, much larger than you are ever able to accomplish, he could say, in my private time, I faced the lion. In my private time, I faced the bear. And in my private time, I won. So you're having personal battles right now that count. They count. Do not discredit the personal battle. So you got to stay focused in faith. You got to be bold in your faith. David was bold enough to tell the king, listen to me. You say I can't, but God has prepared me in my private closet. See, what's going to happen, there can be no public performances until there are private practices. God is allowing you to practice in private. Listen to me. When you practice in private, sometimes it seems like you're by yourself. You are, but you're never absent of the one that is training you. He has eliminated the people, but he's never eliminated his presence. Hear me what I'm saying? He's eliminated people, but he's never eliminated his presence, because he's prepped and prepared you for this battle. This one that you're going through is segueing into your life. Remember, this Goliath, David only had to face one time. Every other battle was just things that he spoiled. Every other battle. This is the defining one that you're in right now. This is the defining moment. It's difficult, but doable. And so now you are, the reason why the enemy is coming against you on this level, in little bitty things that seem insignificant, but they are there to rob you of your faith, your confidence being gone. Just nagging things to condemn you, so you don't have enough confidence to stand before what God is going to give you the opportunity to overcome. And so you got to be aware in the season that what you're feeling, this shift anxiety, it's time for you to shift into a greater level of living, because there's purpose in your life and God wants you to have it. Now, no one is exempt from this. If everybody would be honest, I don't care what your title is, you're feeling shift anxiety right now, because God is calling us to a higher call. Now, here's what is important that we understand in this shift anxiety. I didn't mean to go here, but I feel this. In this level, in this time of shift anxiety, remember something very powerful here. This is a moment of anxiety for your own personal movement, but also it is a moment of anxiety for the body as a whole. This is important that you understand this. This is why we're going to see, like we've never seen before, a shifting in what we hear, because there's going to be some confused sayings by the ones that we thought was sanctioned to speak. And say that again, because I got to get this. Because in this shift anxiety, sometimes what is happening right now, and I said sometimes, but I got to go and be really bold right here. It's happening more now than you can see it happening right now. We are having anxiety or confusion with the voices that we speak to the body right now. We're going to hear more declarations and more things said out of confusion because of this shifting that we're seeing in the spirit realm. It's going to be confusing. I've said this several times, and I say it once again. This season could be very confusing for the seasoned. In other words, this particular season of shifting is going to be confusing for people that's been seasoned in what they've been seasoned in, because it is such an interesting time how God is shifting right now, and we feel the anxiety of it right now. There's a shifting in all areas because God is shifting the voices right now. So don't be surprised. Remember, I told you this right here on Lunchtime Uplift. You're going to see the voices that always spoke begin to speak confusing things. Here's one of the things that the enemy wants us to lose is God's principles. There are principles that we should be living by, because we are to live kingdom lives. Listen to me. We are to live kingdom life. When you live a kingdom life, this life of kingdom is pushed by principle. Please hear this. It's pushed by principle. What does that mean, Pastor G? Here's what it means. It means that a kingdom institution or engaging kingdom might not be or gifts might not be as important as they were. Now, this is important that you understand this, because there's a shifting right now, and we allow the people to speak, or we allow people to live any kind of life, a life with no principle, because they were so gifted. But this next shifting is not going to be based off a gift. It's going to be based off the principles of kingdom. And that's why we are living and we're having shift, because if you are in the shift right now and you got anxiety because of the shift, it's because you don't have the proper instruction to live at the level that God has made privy to you. And that's important that you understand it. That's why he's sending strong revelation, because he's trying to give you the principle to be placed where he's already purposed you to be. And this is important. The worst thing that you can do right now is go to a voice that is very accurate and acclimated to the past and ask them, how do I live at this level? that's when you'll get really shifted into anxiety because they're in a moment of anxiety. Please hear me. So now you're going to see notables get up and make declarations about things, and it's going to be very confusing because it's the enemy's desire is to rob us of all principles of God. Please hear me. The robbers of all principles of God. I gotta go ahead. I'm moving fast. I'm getting to the instruction, but I gotta drop this off. Because he knows that once you live the instructions from God, you get the blessings of God. That's all he needs is someone that will apply his principles. And so since we have lived and allowed the voices that speak to be voices that were the most gifted. Now, here's what the scripture says. Gifts and callings are without repentance. Y'all need to stay with me here because I'm going to drop this and then I'm going to go. Gifts and callings. So just because you're gifted and accurate in your prophecy, you might be able to, watch this. You might be able to shift an atmosphere. You might be able to shift atmosphere. Now, that's what we've been living off, someone that's able to shift an atmosphere. There are people that are gifted enough to shift an atmosphere, but they're not gifted enough to shift your life. Oh my goodness, this is important. There are people that, you got people that can come to a ministry, they have a gift, and so what they can do is pack the house, but they don't know how to impact the house. That's two different things. There's some that know how to pack a house, but they don't know how to impact a house. Now, here's what I want to share. I gotta move on. I'm going to the instruction, but this is instruction. Following God's instruction. Here's the instruction. Now, please hear me. There are people that can prophesy into your life to shift your atmosphere, but they are not qualified to speak into your life that changes your lifestyle. Now, here, and it's confusing because I think if I'm accurate enough to give you my gift to speak something that changes your atmosphere. Now, atmospheres change when I tell you that you're going to get $100 and you don't have no money. That's an atmosphere change. But if I don't have the proper instruction from scripture to tell you how to properly implement principles, then you're going to be needing another $100 for real soon. Are y'all with me now? This is very important. This is very important. I hope I don't lose my audience here because I'm driving something here. And this is going to be very important because as we shift, there are some of you that are being shifted into position, and you got to know who you are because God is going to allow you to live here. And so we are listening to people right now because of the shift. There are voices that are in anxiety, and the only thing they know is to say what they've been saying. And now that they're sensing that that's not saying, they're going to make an incredible declaration to try to change everybody's attention back. They're going to make some things, they're going to say some things to try to pull everybody back into that. We got to be very careful in this season. That's why we're going to have bold faith. Why we have to bold faith? Because there's some things that you've been going through in your private time, some battles that you've been fighting, you got over it. And God is going to give you the ability to stand on your own and what he said. Watch what I tell you. This is your season. Now, let me get to this text. Let me get to that because I'm going to be teaching on that a little bit later. I had to say that to somebody because it's a very interesting season in this anxiety that you feel. You can't put your finger on it. That's God shifting you into where he wants. You just haven't been trained there yet. He's about to allow you to be trained in the area that he's already allowed you to be, the door had been open to. And it's coming. It's coming and it's coming quick. Now, what I want to talk about is trusting God's instruction. Now, hear me. You're going to have to trust an unusual instruction from God. It's going to take bold faith for you to even think about walking in it. It's not, this is going to be gotten by you applying some faith, bold faith, trusting in what God says, not in what you are able to produce. It's going to take some bold faith, trusting in what God says and not what you're able to produce. I'm going to say that one more time because I need you. It's going to take a bold move of faith, trusting in what God said and not what you see with your eyes. You don't have the power or the ability to produce what you see in your dream. You're going to have to trust God in this season. God is the only one that can produce. There is an unusual instruction that is coming that you are going to have to hear God. This is why he's pulling you aside so that you can get rid of all of the confusing voices that constantly cause you to walk out of your purpose. No longer can we allow that to happen. We don't need voices that will distract us from what God has said to us. So we got to get back. So there's an unusual instruction that is going to be sent that is going to catapult us into the blessings of God. This is a season of, we've been through a season of distraction. What we're seeing right now in government and all that stuff, that's just a distraction for the people of God to get focused. Don't you get focused in there. I already told you, kingdom life is lived from principles. There's another life that you live that you are in but not of. Your trust, your faith, and everything you got is in God. I don't care what the natural economy does. You have a contract with heaven that says that you will be blessed and favored in the midst of everything that you dare see on TV or any other form. You got to believe that with all you have to believe that with. Your faith, according to your faith, be it unto you. I'm going to read something here. This is Luke chapter number 5. Luke chapter number 5. This is talking about Jesus. Very familiar story, but I want to share something about trusting God's instruction, because you're going to get unusual instruction and God's going to require you to trust it, even when you look at it and it says, you know, when God gives you an instruction, sometimes everything that you look at, whether it's speaking or not, with an audible voice, is doing like this. Sometimes that silence speaks much louder than an audible voice. Seems like everything is saying, don't even try it. Oh, but God's going to give you an instruction. Here in Luke chapter 5, verse 1 says, "It came to pass that as the people pressed upon him to hear the word of God, he stood on the lake of Nazareth." And here it is. The second verse says, this is Luke chapter 5. Luke chapter 5. The second verse says, "And saw two ships standing by the lake." And saw two ships standing by the lake. Check it out. "But the fishermen were gone out of them." You can still share me. You can still share me. Thank you, First Lady Adrian Bush. Thank you. You can still share me. Now listen. Watch this now. "And he entered into one of the ships, which was Simon's." He entered in one of the ships, which was Simon's, "and prayed him." Watch what it said. "That he would thrust out a little from the land. And he sat down and taught the people out of the ship." Here it is. Jesus is just thrown by the people, and people are on him. So he runs out to a ship. Sees the ship setting idle, and he enters into one of the ships, one of the boats, and it happened to be Simon's boat. And he asked Simon, he said, "Please do me a favor, launch out, just go out just a little bit, so I can preach to the people and they don't overtake me." And so he enters in, and he sat down and taught the people out of the ship. Now the fourth verse says this. "Now when he had left speaking," now he's done speaking to the audience. He's on Simon's boat. Simon is a fisherman, and he allowed Jesus to use his boat. When you understand the customs of the time, when a rabbi needed a certain thing to do, a certain task, it was understood by all that we will allow the rabbi to use our equipment. And so here it is, Simon is doing the very same thing. He's allowing Jesus, who is the rabbi, to use his boat. And now it says, when he, listen to me now, listen to me real close. "When he had ended teaching the people, then he turned to Simon." Listen, once he got done talking to the people, he turns to Simon. Simon was not there to hear the message. He was there because Jesus entered his boat. Hear me now. Hear me now. Hear me now. Hear me now. You might not have necessarily prepped yourself to hear the instructions of God right now, but he's coming on your ship. Please hear me. He's coming to your ship. And so Simon was not there, not saying, "Come on my ship." He was just there. By coincidence, he was just there. And so Jesus ended his teaching, and now what he does, he turns to Simon and he says, "Simon, launch out into the deep." Here it is. "Launch out into the deep and let down your net for a draught." Now notice what he just said to Simon. He says, "Simon, launch out into the deep." Now here's Jesus after finished teaching on Simon's boat. He turns to him and he says, "Now launch out into the deep." He didn't ask him, "Hey Simon, hey, listen to me. Do you think it's good for you to launch out right now? Do you think it'll be a good time? Do you think, what do you think about this?" None of that. He just turned to him and said, "Now move." Here it is. Launch out into the deep. And he says, listen to what I'm about to tell you, Simon. Listen very closely. Listen very closely. "Launch out into the deep and let down your net for a draught." In other words, you need to go where I tell you immediately. Listen to me. Go where I tell you immediately and do what I said, and you're going to see a manifestation. Did you hear what I just said? He comes up on the boat. He gets finished teaching. An unusual instruction is then given. What does he tell Simon? He says, now move over into the deep and let your net down because you're about to get a harvest. Move out into the deep. Unusual instruction. I know you didn't plan for me to be on your boat right now, but since I'm here, since you recognize I'm here, listen to my instruction and follow. If you will follow these instructions, you're going to get what you don't have. Oh, that right there was somebody. If you hear the instruction now, you didn't know he was coming now, but he just landed in your space. When he lands on your space, he's not landing to hear your whining. He's landing to give you a gift. Oh, that's powerful. He's landing to give you the gift. Now, hear me. He says, lunch. The gift is always an instruction. When God gives me an instruction, he knows what that instruction is going to yield in my life. We don't think the gift is in the instruction. We think the gift is actually the manifestation. The gift is the instruction. Why is this important? Because of your level of faith. If you engage the instruction with great faith or bold faith, it will determine what the manifestation is. So he says the gift is the instruction. He says, launch out into the deep and do it now. Right now. Go, Simon. Now please hear. I heard something very powerful. I heard something very powerful today. The way that I said this several times, the way that you bless a giver is by receiving his gift, his or her gift. That's the way you bless them. If you find someone that's a giver, receive their gift. Now, it's called the present. A present is a gift. Now, watch this. Jesus is present on Simon's boat right now. He's a present on Simon's boat. The best way to bless a giver is by accepting his gift. Now, this was the word made. Y'all need to hear me today. This was the word made flesh. Jesus, a present, is on Simon's boat. He give him the gift of instruction. Why? Because this is the word made flesh. It is the instruction of God landing on Simon's boat. When God gives me an opportunity, he always starts it with an instruction. Please hear me. And I got to trust God's instruction. He's on Simon's boat just by chance. No, he's not. He's there on purpose, even though Simon didn't know it was the right day and the right time for Jesus to land on his boat. There are several of you that are listening to me. He's landing on your boat and you think it ain't the right time or the right day, or you've been told it's not the right time and you can't expect for him to bless you on today. So here it is. He enters into Simon's boat. He preaches to the people, and then he turns to Simon and say, launch out into the deep. Go over there. And if you go over there, you're going to get what you never gotten before. You're going to get your dream if you will follow the instruction. Now, again, the best way to bless a blesser or a giver is to receive a gift, a present. Jesus is present. That's what we call a present, is a gift. Jesus is present. And so what do you do when you get a present? Please hear me. When you give someone a present, you expect them to open it and see their face excited because of the gift that you just gave. The worst thing you can do to a giver is to receive their present and push it away and say, I'll deal with this present tomorrow. That just suggested to the giver that what he just gave or what she just gave don't mean a lot to you. So when he gives you his present, he's saying, open it now. Engage it right now. Start working with it now. I'm not telling you to delay, procrastinate till tomorrow. If I am present, then you need to unwrap it. If I am present, you need to open it up immediately. Oh, blessings. In other words, when you hear this instruction from God right now, what does he say? Unwrap it now. Don't wait till tomorrow. Don't wait till next week. Get busy about seeing what is in your box, because he's about to bless you. He says, Simon, now, launch into the deep. Of course, we know through the text that Simon began to declare to him how the time wasn't right, how all the things he's facing, how many times he's tried this, how many times he's gone through, how many days of disappointment he had. He says, that's not what I said, Simon. He's talking to you right now. He says, when I am present, when you recognize that I'm here as a gift. I'm going to give you an instruction. I expect you to unwrap it immediately without telling me how many times you failed, how many times you missed, how many times you've been rejected, how many times they didn't say the right thing. It's not the time. It is time for you to unwrap immediately, because he's giving you an instruction to shift your entire life. To shift your entire life. There are some that cannot recognize that there is a present force on your team right now that's ready to shift your entire life. This is a life-shifting moment. Life-shifting moment. I'm talking to people that have just come out from disappointment. Simon has just come out from being disappointed and having nothing. It says those that went out with him were actually washing their net. When you're washing your net, you're cleaning, you have thrown in the towel. That means that we're good. Nothing happened. And so we're just going to have to wait till tomorrow to see if we're going to be successful tomorrow. But when Jesus steps on the ship, please hear me. When Jesus steps on the ship, the present, the gift, he says, follow the instruction, unwrap now, or begin to engage immediately. And he says, what you're going to get is what you've never gotten your entire life. This is a life-shifting, shifting instruction that you're going to see. Are y'all listening to me? I can't move because I need somebody to hear this. You are about to get a life-shifting instruction in the midst of your disappointment, in the midst of what you deem a failure, in the midst of what you say couldn't happen. He's going to give you a life-changing, life-shifting instruction. I got people on here right now that you got things pending. There's a better life. It's pending, and God is going to give you an instruction that's going to be unusual. And if you're not careful, you're going to fight with the one that can make your life happen. Hear me. Don't fight with the one. Now, why do I fight with the one that can make my life happen? If Jesus walks to your boat and decide he's going to come on, don't listen to people that say he shouldn't be on your boat. I'm going to say that again. If Jesus decides he's going to walk to your situation and say, I'm ready to shift it, why are you listening to people that say you're not qualified for a shift? Why are you listening to people that say it ain't the right time? If Jesus decides that this is your moment, I declare to you, you need to start unwrapping your present. Do it now. He says, I'm a present. I mean, right now. He says, I am. I'm not tomorrow. I'm not what you experienced yesterday. I am. Unwrap it down. Do it again. Don't tell me that I've done it before. Don't say I didn't have. Don't say, do and follow the unusual instruction. Now, listen to me very closely. Listen to me very closely. The text says that, he says, and let down your phone. And Simon, here it is. Here it is. And Simon answered and said unto him, Master. Now listen to me. Listen to me. Now this is a traditional man. This is a traditional man. And I'm going to tell you why. Because we are all caught up into hear this. I need to unpack this. This is tradition talking through a man. Hear me. Because this is important. Because this is what has plagued and caused us to lose our present or our moment and unwrapping and seeing brand new life or being launched into our brand new. Here's what he said. Check out what he says. Check out what he said. He says, and Simon answered and said to him, Master, we have toiled all night. Listen to the text. Listen to this. Listen to me. Let me unpack. Why do you call him master? And how can you call God God and then turn around and refute what he says? Master, let me tell you what you don't know. Master, I know you are the one that creates life, but let me explain something to you. This is exactly what Simon is doing. You know how we are. We can say that we believe, but don't believe. Master, I hear you, but you don't understand who I am. God, you're the creator of all things. You make something out of nothing. But I don't know if you understand what I'm facing. So here's Peter Master, master. You are the miracle worker. You are the one that do miracles. But let me explain to you why you can't do what you just said for me. This is what we do. This is what we continue to do. Master, I heard what you said. I know you said lunch now, but the same people are there that was there when I tried to lunch before. They ain't going nowhere. I don't know if you know this now. I just want to let you know that the same people are in the same place. Now here it is. Peter is on the same boat that he just experienced failure on. He just went out all night and seen nothing. Jesus was well aware that I'm on the boat that actually brought in nothing. He was well aware. I'm talking to Simon, who was on the boat that brought in nothing. He's disappointed because he didn't bring in nothing. I'm well aware of the situation. But you're going to have to follow the instruction. I don't need to know who it is. I don't need to know how many times it's failed. Just follow the unusual instruction. And he says, if you follow this, I will overflow your life. Now check it out. Check it out. Check it out. Here it is. Here it is. Here it is. Master, we have toiled all night and have taken nothing. Master, we've done what we always done. We toil, we work hard, and we haven't brought nothing in. Can you just see Jesus' face saying, I don't know if you even understand who you're talking to and what you're saying to me. I told you, this is an unusual instruction. It's going to be unusual. It's going to defy all of your logic. Master, we have toiled all night. Toiling is a picture of you putting your perfect plan into place. How many of you been toiling with your perfect plan? And your perfect plan is based off all of the things that you failed in before. Because this is a modification of the failures that you've already had. You've only modified the failing plan that you had before. So that should suggest to me that it's not my modified plan that's going to bring me the miracle. So Simon says, we have toiled. We have implemented the next phase of the failing plan that we implemented days before, and we saw nothing. And here's Jesus. He's like, bingo. He's saying the same thing to us. Bingo. I'm not asking you for your failed plan. I'm not asking you for your good plan. I'm trying to work a miracle that defies your understanding. What you are going to get in this season does not come from your toil. It's coming from the instruction that you presently acknowledge and put into place now. Do what I said now, not what you've been trying to do prior to now. When I tell you to move on what I tell you to move on, I understand that I'm talking to the same person with the same instrument, with the same everything. That's not the determining factor. It's the fact that I have just stepped on your boat. That's where the new come in, is the fact that he just showed up into my situation. Impromptu, boom. How did he pick me out of all the people? He didn't just pick you randomly. He planned you before you entered into your mother's womb, that this would be the day that he shows up. He shows up in a very real way. Simon has heard about Jesus, but he never experienced the manifest presence of him. That's a total difference from what we're seeing in our lives right now. We know that God is everywhere all the time. He's omnipresent. But this season, we're going to experience manifest presence. We're not just going to be satisfied with omnipresent, that I feel him. I need to see him in this season. And this is all that Simon was experiencing, is the manifest presence of God. That's what he's saying to you. You are shouting, you are happy because you felt me. But now I want you to see the results of me actually being on that. It's going to be some decisions in your favor because I am present. There's going to be some things changed about you because I am present, because you acknowledge me. Now listen to what the text said. Listen to what the text said. Listen to it. Watch this. Watch what the text said. It says, and Simon answered and said unto the master, we have toiled all night and have taken nothing. In other words, this is not about your toil. This is about your tenacity in following my instruction. Listen to what he said. He said, nevertheless. I love when that nevertheless comes in. I love it when it's nevertheless. He says, watch what he said. He says, nevertheless, at thou word, instruction, I will let down the net. Now, when I read this, something powerful stood out at me or stuck out at me or jumped out at me really quickly. He says, nevertheless, at thy word. Now, please hear me. Please hear me. This was not just the word that he heard when he says launch out into the deep. I believe that this was as a consequence of Simon sitting there hearing Jesus teach an entire message of principle to a people. And as a consequence of him hearing the faith that he spoke to the people in the principle of his message, I believe that it stuck to him. And when you hear truth, please hear me, when I am privy to truth, what happens? The truth will make me free. But there is still this thing in me, even though I've heard the truth. I need you to hear what I'm about to say. Even though I heard the truth, there's still this thing that's in me that's called my past and the repetition of failure in my past. And so when I actually hear the truth or I hear the command from God, I still will challenge what God just said because of all the tragedies I've experienced in my past. And so the same thing is happening here. Peter is speaking from the place that he felt failure in, and he said, but master, we can't. But then he had enough fortitude because he listened to Jesus preach a powerful message. He had been set free. Freedom comes when you hear the word of the Lord. A lot of people are in their position because they refuse to hear the truth. They refuse to put themselves in position to hear the truth. They think it's not necessary. But as a consequence of Peter hearing this message from Jesus, his faith is now being built. There was a challenge before because the enemy is not going to let you walk into it easy. Simon had the option just then to say, you're on my boat, I'm not listening to you because I know how to do this. I got this together. I got a plan. It didn't work today, but it'll work tomorrow. But there was something in him that says, nevertheless, let me try what you just said. And I believe it was the truth that Jesus spoke that set him free or allowed him to hear. He had just broken the barriers that had held him into the same position that's called toil. I want to speak this to somebody. You have been bound by toil. You've been bound by trying to be a success on your own. You've been bound by working your own plan. You've been bound by the things that the world tells you this is the key to success. I believe that there's a word that's coming that's going to break the oppression of toil that has reaped you nothing. And now you're going to hear an instruction that allow you to walk into an inheritance that is only produced by following the instruction of the one that creates life. And here it is. He says to him, he says, nevertheless, at your word. That's all Jesus needed to hear. That's all he wants from you. He says, if you can get over the failures, if you can get over all the things that you've done, the money spent, all of that stuff, he says, if you can get over that and say, nevertheless. Key word is nevertheless. Jesus praying in the garden in Luke. And the Bible says that he is praying so hard that he's sweating blood because the pressure is on. The heat is on. There's something that he knows that he's supposed to accomplish. Hear me. There's something he knows he was created to do. But now when the pressure comes, when the time actually comes for him to walk in what he was created to do, it happens to all of us. The pressure gets almost unbearable. And Jesus himself, the one that is to save the entire world, is now saying and scratching his head and saying, okay, now, here's the moment of greatness. Lord, if it be your will, let's see if we can figure something out because this ain't easy. In other words, he's facing a moment that ain't easy. It ain't as easy now that it's time to accomplish as it was when I was just talking about it or telling people about it. Listen to me very close. There are some of you that are at the place right now. It's a different ball game because before now, you were talking about it and it was easy to talk about because it wasn't the day to accomplish. When the day comes that it's time for you to walk in, everything changes. And you are experiencing the same thing that Jesus experienced at the time of him accomplishing that he was created for. He's now saying, Father, look, let's see if we can find a different route. It's not that I'm disagreeing with what you say, but can it be somebody else like you, Lord? Really, why you pick me? Why you want me? I don't know if I'm able to do it. I don't know if I am even built for this. I don't know. Remember, you testified about it. Remember, you told people about it. What you're feeling right now is the door opening, and you have shift anxiety because you don't know that, Lord, am I able? Am I able? Am I able to do this? I don't care what your title is. Jesus, I'm going to show you. Jesus is saying, but you notice something in the passage. God never answered him. Why didn't God answer this man? Why didn't God answer his son? Why didn't God come in? Because he knew that I placed something in you that if you live long enough, you're going to live through it. And if you live long enough and take the knocks and the bruises that you're supposed to take, what I placed in you gonna come alive. And that's when Jesus, like Simon said, here's what Jesus said. Jesus says, nevertheless, not my will, but your will be done. Same thing Simon said, nevertheless, this is not what makes sense to me, but since you said it, since you said it, Jesus, I know it don't make sense to me, but if you said it, it's not going to make sense. Let me say something to you. There is something that you are going to sense that don't make sense. And so here it is. He's sensing something that don't make sense. Jesus says, nevertheless, at your will. And the Bible says the moment that he says this, an angel came to strengthen him for his journey. Here's what the Lord is saying to you as well. He says, if you can say nevertheless. Now, what's the nevertheless? Here's the definition of nevertheless. If I obey this instruction, if I trust God with what he's already placed me and purposed me for, I will never have to live less again. Less is not my calling. It will be overflow. It will be never less. Never. I won't come in last again. I won't be the behind. I will be above. I will be the lender and not the borrower. Now let me share it with you because it's in the text. He says, nevertheless, at the word, we're taught all night, but nevertheless, at thy word, I will let down my net. Sixth verse, watch what sixth verse says. Nevertheless, watch this. Sixth verse says, and when they had done this, they enclosed a great multitude of fish, and their nets break. Listen to what nevertheless is. Your net is about to break because of the harvest of your obedience. Say it again. Your net is about to break because of the harvest of your obedience. When you can get over trying to explain to the master how it can't work because you done tried it, you done went to the places that people say go, you done went to the things that people say do, and none of that is working for you. That's your toil. You can do all the research you want to do. That's your toil. I'm not telling you not to research. I want you to research so that when God actually comes in and manifests the miracle in your life, you can be even more amazed because sometimes the research tell you that it can't happen. Sometimes the research will tell you that it's not the right time. But when God has declared your life and he's giving you an unusual instruction, he gives you his present. What should you do? Unwrap immediately. Start acting as if God just showed me everything that he promised me is coming to pass right now because he just shifted you into your brand new life. So here it is, net breaking. Here it is, an overflow. Here it is, you'll never live less again. Here it is, I put in the package everything that I ever promised you. It's in this package. Now, I had a couple of young ladies, Pastor Deidre, I can't tell the whole testimony, but I'm going to drop this in. She said that she went on a trip and she was expecting one thing and they brought the Cadillac out. Meaning, nevertheless, they brought the Cadillac. I come to Atlanta and Pastor Angela says her new job package is a Cadillac package. They actually called it the Cadillac package. I'm here to tell you that what God is about to manifest in your life right now, because you are hearing an instruction now and following an instruction and trusting God's instruction, you're about to get the deal of all deals. Your life is about to open. You're about to have net breaking. Listen to me. Nevertheless, is your declaration now. Nevertheless, I don't have to settle for that. That's not what he told me. My toil would have brought me that. But since I'm not toiling, I'm living my inheritance. My inheritance is always more than enough. I'm not having to beg in this next season because he says all my needs are already supplied because I followed the unusual instruction. Everybody else told me I had to go over here and do this and kiss up to this. But my instruction was that move and shift over here when everybody else is laying idle. So remember, this was a moment when the ships were sitting idle. In other words, everybody is saying nothing is happening right now. Simon gets an instruction when he is sitting idle. Because God says your life is not to be idle. You're supposed to be producing something constantly. And so he steps in to your boat while you are sitting idle. Please hear me. This is your season for your ship. This is the season for your ship. Now, let me read on 7th verse. Watch this. And they beckon unto their partners. And they beckon to their partners. Now the partners is doing something else. Jesus just happened to walk on Simon. Now Simon is refuting and saying, and now he sees, oh my God, what is this? This blessing was so huge that he knew the master because he called him master. He knew his ability and power that he possessed. But this was I haven't seen, neither ear haven't heard blessing. And so now Simon is so overwhelmed with what God has just dropped in his life until he started beckoning. Now you know when you know when somebody's blessed when they start beckoning. When they start saying, oh my God, even when I sink they boat and sink they boat and sink they boat, still it's steady coming. I want God to bless you that so much until you don't mind start beckoning people in. Come get this. Come get. I want him to overflow your life so much because the rule of blessings, anyway, is in Genesis chapter 12. He says, I'm gonna bless you to be a blessing. If you're just trying to get enough to supply for your own house, you're not praying God's will. He says, I want to bless you to be a blessing. That means that there has to be an overflow. Now, he start. Look. Text said they start. Pastor Chess say they said, "Come over here." I can imagine Simon calling the people over to see the blessing, but also to bless them. But also, I can imagine that he's taking off his glasses and he's calling his partners that he trusts and say, "Now listen to me closer. Are my eyes deceiving me? It's really. Do you see what I see? I need to know that I'm not crazy right now. I need to know that you see the same thing. Tell me if you see the same thing. This is how God is trying to. When other words, when He's trying to blow your mind, it's like there's something that's happening in your life that it defies all logic. So you need to call somebody over and say, "Hey, look. Tell me that my eyes are not deceiving me." That's the level that he's trying to drop it out. I need to read it. Let me read it. Listen, and they beckon unto their master. He says, "Come on over here. Listen, look at this. Look at this. Come on over. Come on." The party. He beckoned their partner, which were in other ships, which were in the other ship. There's another ship. God, you bless me. You're sinking my ship with blessing. Now I need you to sink their ship with blessing. See, some of you have been praying for your family, and they don't know how to sink their ship. But since you have had a visitation from the Lord, your prayers are going to be such a blessing. You're about to sink some other ships. Yeah, you know when they say, my ship is about to come in, you're about to see your ship come in. Listen to let me here it is. It said, which were in the ship, that they should come and help them. Come over here, because there's blessings gonna come over here. And they came and filled both the ship, so that they began to sink. Both of them. This is at the listen. I'm gonna use the language. This is at the wrong time. Why do you say at the wrong time? Because Simon says fishing happens at night. By all studies and all everything put together, we know that fishing begins. This is at the wrong time. This is at the wrong place. You got to get this out of this. Jesus says lunch over there. He said, no, don't argue with me. This is at the wrong time. So he shows up when? At the wrong time. Why are you saying this, Pastor? Because there are some of you right now at the wrong time and at the wrong place. What does that mean, Pastor? He shows up when everybody else says it's the wrong time and the wrong place. And he says, let me take possession of your possession. Let me take possession of your possession. What you got is not enough. So I'm gonna take possession of your possession. And now I'm about to sink your ship at the wrong time. And then immediately the wrong time become the right time. Faith, listen to me. That's why I say it's gonna take bold faith. You're gonna follow bold faith. Let me give you in the definition of faith. Put the camera down so you can see that. Bold faith. Let me give you the definition of faith. Now, Hebrews 11, verse number 1, it says, now faith. Now faith is always bold faith. Why? Because if it's now faith, that means that there's something that perhaps you've been told is not going to happen to 2020, or 2021, or 2022. And you got bold faith. And so the Bible starts out by saying, now faith. What does that mean? That this bold faith, coupled with God's instruction, is about to go take 2021 and pull it into 2019 and drop it right there. Boom. It's about to drop it in your space right now. Now. It's not, listen, now. When you get the present, unwrap it immediately. He says, I'm not talking about, listen, I am. When you experience the I am, he's not saying tomorrow. He's not talking about the back then. He's talking about the right now. He's talking about right now. He's saying, I am ready right now. When I give you this unusual instruction, the best way to properly process this, when I start talking, you start moving. When God gives you the instruction, please don't call him master and then refute what he says. That's the way religious people do. Religious people can say God is God, he's all powerful, he can do this. But then when he gives an instruction, we say, master, that can't happen. No. Not this season. You are going to go after what God says, and you are going to see the hand of God. Don't tell him about your failures. Don't tell him about your failure. If you tell him about your failure, you are wasting a lot of valuable time. The angels are not waiting on you to complain to them. They are not your partners. The angels are not your partners. They are waiting for your command. Please hear me. Please hear me. And when they show up on the scene, they are there to hear you speak a command about manifestation, not about how you struggled prior to now. That's not what they're trying to hear. Please hear me. Please hear me. Now, Psalms, I'm going to read this again so you can get this. Psalms 103, verse number 20. Bless the Lord, ye his angels that excel in strength. Here it is. To do his commandments. Listen, to do his commandments. The angels are ready to do God's commandments. Please hear it. Please hear this. Hearkening unto the voice of his word. What are they hearkening unto? They are hearkening unto the voice of his word. The text didn't say they're waiting for God to speak. What they're waiting on is the persons that God has authorized to declare. He's telling you, talk to them and declare what I said about you. They're waiting on the voice. Listen to me. They're waiting on the voice of my word. When you speak my word, they which excel in strength go out and get or start making happen what I promised you. They don't need to hear about complaints. They don't need to hear complaints. They need to hear the voice of someone that's saying, I might have been down and cast down before, but now I see my future. I hear what God said. I'm following the instruction. I'm commanding. I'm declaring that this is the season right now, not tomorrow, because I'm dealing with the I am. I'm dealing with the I am. He's the master. He says now command. Now speak. Now say it. Now. Jesus walked on a boat that had just come from a mission that had received nothing. Jesus just started speaking to a man that was on the boat that didn't have anything. He was the owner of the boat. So he's talking to people that have failed prior to now. Follow his instruction now. It's now. It's now. Go again. Go again. And he'll use the same people that said no prior to now, and you'll get a yes. Because you're following his command. You're saying, nevertheless, at your words, not at their word, not at his word. Nevertheless, this move is because of what you said. Stop listening to their word and listen to what the master has just prompted you in your spirit. Go for it. Go for it. Go for it. Go for it. Oh my God, I don't have my executive producer to pull my coattail, and I don't went over time, y'all. But the moral to this story is, this is an unusual season of bold faith. You got to follow an unusual instruction to receive an unusual harvest. This is not regular. God is not doing regular right now. He ain't trying to do regular. He's trying to sink your ship. He's trying to sink the ship of everybody that's connected to you. He's trying to sink. He's trying to overflow. Listen. God is trying to make a bold move right now in the earth. He needs willing vessels. Vessels that are hear the instruction, the unusual instruction, and say, I'm going to do. Nevertheless, I'm going for it. I'm winning. It's my winning season. Same person that experienced several failures with the same instruments. He comes in and say, now I'm going to put my super on your natural. As Wednesday's text says, God will put his super on your unqualified natural, or everything that people said couldn't work. He comes in and say, I will prove myself through this that everybody said couldn't work. I show them I'm God. I'm more than able. He's turning. Listen, he's turning the tables right now. The tables are turning. That's what you feel in your spirit. So shift into the supernatural. Here it is. God is going to give it to you this season. Follow the instruction. Stay on task and watch. Not many days what he promised coming. It's about to sink your ship. Let's pray together. Father, thank you for this word. Thank you for the hearers of this word. Thank you, Father, for allowing us to speak into your people. Thank you for the blessings that you are giving to your people in this season. Thank you for them trusting you like never before. Like never before. This unusual instruction, Lord, is here to bless. Thank you so much for allowing us to be the recipients of your blessing because of our faith. Our faith has qualified us to be the recipient of a supernatural exchange. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Father. Thank you so much. Your glory is being revealed in your people right now. In Jesus' name, amen. Now, listen to me. It's done. I didn't pray to bad God. I prayed because I'm thanking God. I'm thankful and grateful to God. Amen. For those of you that are in the Little Rock area, Sunday morning, 9 a.m., we'll continue. Let's continue this Sunday morning, 9 a.m. Network, Little Rock, 1111 West 7th Street, downtown Little Rock, Arkansas, 1111 West 7th Street, 9 a.m. I'm in Atlanta today. I will be in Little Rock tomorrow. Atlanta today. I'm speaking at, I'll be at church on Sunday morning, 9 a.m. Monday, for those of you that are in the Dallas area, NOBD is in Dallas on Monday here comes, did you get the paper sign? I got my grandbaby here, and I'm gonna see if she's gonna come on TV. Come on over here, girl. Let's see if you're gonna come. Come on here. Come here. I want your granny, your nanny to see. Look at her. They didn't sign the contract yet. She's shy. She don't want to be on TV.
Okay.
All right, girl. That's my grandbaby, 8 months. Man. Oh, you gonna stop? Okay, well, go on there. I'm not gonna deal with you like that. Go on, girl. Now she's happy again. She's smiling again. She don't want to be on camera. If I don't pay her, she don't want to be on. Okay. Thank God. So Sunday morning, 9 a.m., 9 a.m. Sunday morning. I want to show my grandbaby. Listen to me, y'all. Listen to me. Listen to me. Listen to me. Enjoy your family. It's a part of your. It's a part of your happiness. Enjoy your people. Enjoy yourself. My time is up. But I wanted to say this. Enjoy yourself. This morning, and I use life experiences, and I wanted to say this earlier. I was getting ready to check out of my hotel, and so once you go on the trip, you come with certain items, but when you leave, you have double the items. Especially if you got a wife, you come with one thing, and then you doubled your territory be expanded for some reason or another, right? Now, you might come for 2 or 3 days and, I'm just talking about my wife. She might bring stuff for, like we stay in a month or whatever. But anyways, that's not what I'm talking about. But anyways, when I got ready to bring my stuff out of the hotel, I had all of these bags, right? And so I'm on the 11th floor of this hotel. This is a life experience. I got church, I'm gonna leave. And all of a sudden, I don't want to take and make 3 or 4 trips. So on the first trip, I loaded myself down with bags. I mean, I had a bag everywhere you can put a bag, and these bags were heavy, just to make sure that when I go back, I can go get my granddad, because I don't want my wife to take any stuff. I want to carry all the stuff. But anyways, once I come down and I was waiting on the elevator, and I thought about it. I said, well, maybe I'll set this stuff down for a moment. But I said, if I set it down, I'm gonna have to readjust everything. So I held it, and I said, I just need to hold this until I get to my car. When I get to my car, I can put all of this stuff in, and I can unload this. Please hear me, because once I was thinking this, God always speaks to me in these real life experiences. There are many of you right now that are carrying major loads. Your life feel like it is loaded down. But you are discovering right now, and God is going to give you revelation, that if you know the destination and you know that it's about time for you to unload, God will help you bear this in this moment. I know it seems like it's way too much right now. Don't worry. It's all for purpose. You're carrying a load right now for purpose. Yeah, you're carrying it for a purpose right now. But God is He's about to take some weight off you. He's about to take some weight. He's going to show you the destination. I get on the elevator. Listen to me. I get on the elevator. When I get on the elevator, there's a young man that comes on the elevator, and he says to me, when you get on the elevator, you're already there. When everybody else gets on, they want to push their floor. And so when he got on, he looked and he says, because I had already pushed the parking deck, he gets on and he says, we're going to the same place. Good, great, we're going to the same place. So he didn't have to reach over to do it. And when I looked at him, this was earlier this morning, he still had his pajamas on and all of that. And so I looked at it and I thought about it, and it's something that really came real to me. Even though he got on the same, I'm carrying a load. He's not carrying anything. He's still dressed like he just got out of bed and everything. And he says, we're going to the same place. And I said to myself, yeah, we're going, you got on the same elevator, but we're not going to the same place. Why did I say that? Because even though we're all both going to the parking deck, I looked at him and said, you're not dressed right. Listen. In this season of your carrying the load that other people are not carrying, and they think they're going to the same place that you're going to. No, they ain't dressed right. I needed to share this with you. Everybody that get on ain't carrying the same load, and they're not going to the same destination because they are not dressed right. They're not dressed right. They're not carrying. They're not wearing the right thing for your next season. And I knew it. You're not prepared to go where I'm going because you didn't prepare to go where I'm going. You're not dressed. You're on the same. It seems like the same thing is taking us up and down. But I'm loaded down with something because I'm going somewhere on purpose. God is shifting me into something. Now, even though when I got off the elevator, he was gracious enough to open up the door for me. Please hear me. Everybody that's not dressed like you can't go where you're going. Now, they can assist you in getting there. But once they get the door for you, open up the door, they still can't go where you're going. I need a couple of y'all to hear that right now, because you've been carrying a load and it's not been for naught. Everybody can't qualify to go where you're going because they didn't carry the load that you could carry. So the load that you've been carrying has caused you to be dressed a certain way or prepared for something. They can't go there. Now, they might assist you, but be very conscious that they don't get inside your vehicle. I'm going to stop with that. We'll pick that up on Monday. Let's pick that up on Monday. Because you're going to a place right now. You're going to a place right now, man. You loaded down. But I was loaded because I knew I can carry it. He can't put more on me than I can bear. I'm carrying a load right now. But I'm prepping for a time when I can let it go, and now I'm free to excel. I'm free to move. I'm free to run because I've been not a load that I carry, prepared my muscles for the right now. That's why life has been so difficult, because when God releases you, you're going to do a 3 days journey in Monday. All right, I am out of here. Thank you. For those of you who want to give to this, I put the address in. I'm going to put it in there again because it's a blessing to give. I'm going to put it in there for you. And again, Monday, Dallas. But don't you forget Sunday, Little Rock, NOB. I put it in there again. Listen, Pastor Melinda Dowling, blessings to you. You're a great spirit. God's going to bless. Listen, when we shift, Pastor Melinda, everything seems like it doesn't work immediately like we want to. But that means that we got to hold on to our faith, because there's some things that are coming. Amen. 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 Thank you, Christy. Thank you, Pastor Deidre, Pastor Angela, Mom, Pastor Marissa, Leah. Who else is in here? Sarah. Hey, Sarah. Sarah, we got members. We're here visiting members. We're at a members house right now. Sonia and Jonathan Diamond here. Yeah. We were yesterday with who were we with yesterday? Oh, mine is Raina. You know, Pastor Chester Gilmore, blessings to you, man. Kevin Langston. Who else is in the house? Joyce, Pastor Danita Waller, Joe Smith, Pastor Joel, Ebony, everybody that was in today. Thank you so much. I'm out of here. Bold faith, bold moves. Make bold moves today. Make very bold moves. Raquel Bates, make bold moves. Trust what God says, even when the system fails you. Trust what God says, even when the system fails. Because your move is not just a move for you. Your move is God making a bold statement through you. Yes, that's what it is. Not just a move for you, but it's God making a bold move through you. I got to go because they over there saying it's time to quit. All right. Thank you so much. We're out of here. Thank you so much. Holla. See you. For those of you in the Little Rock area, 1111 West 7th Street. Those of you that are in Dallas area 2363 Stemmons Trail Road is the place that we're going to be. And for those of you that are not in either of those places, Monday at 12 noon, we will see you from Dallas. We broadcast from Dallas on Monday, right? Yes. All right. We're out of here. Holla.